Namaste and welcome to Soul Family. This video is about how to pick or how do we pick our guru or our masters. Like how does our mind function when we are picking someone to follow or to learn from? So what is it that make us or that drive behind us which will make us follow a person to learn from that person? So I wanna get into the subject because I thought about it a few times, but I forgot to make a video on it. Um, but at least I'm here. So let's dig in. I'm excited what I'm gonna speak about it because when I was going through finding a master for myself or this need to find someone, there were so many things happen in my life, the situations which showed me like how I am following whoever, like without even thinking if that person, whatever that person is telling me, is it like right or wrong or like what. It just like I just went through unconsciously to whatever the people who are saying anything on YouTube or any media. So from there to how I chose, or they chose me, or that energy chose me, or I chose it. I don't know. So it just happened. So I wanna like get into the subject. So initially, I was into spirituality from my childhood. I was very attracted to Buddha from a very young age. Like I the meaning or this idea of impermanence soaked into my head when I was probably, I don't even know, maybe 5 years, 4 years, something into 5 to 7 years kind of age. I didn't even know much about it, but it's in my mind. I don't know how I picked it from where I picked it from a person, from my dad, from a movie, from a sadhu or a saint who is passing by, or from a monk. I have no idea how I picked this impermanence from this concept of impermanence which Buddha teaches. So and since then it's this mind. I have a monk kind of mind. It's like two separate minds I have, which will like contemplate with each other from my childhood. If I'm going, let's just say, if I wanted to go to a place where most children go, like to a park, to a zoo park, or to um, to a place like Disneyland, or an exhibition if you're in India, like all the stuff that children do, or when I'm growing up, chasing women, or like going, like want to like have some company with women, and like fall in love. And when this period of time when I was evolving as a kid, I just I had this contemplation in my mind. Where does it lead in the end? So it's always there, and these two minds will used to fight. It's like not fight, but it's like a friendly contemplation. Okay, all right, you wanna go behind her, so what's up? How far do you wanna go? Like this contemplation from a very young age, and I'm really noticing it now after after the samadhi experience I had. Since then, I was like not into that, but now I'm like more digging into myself where it exactly began from. The seed in me to go into spirituality or with intensity. How did it all began, and how I conceived this idea of like me spending hours and hours and days and years in reading stuff about spirituality, about different masters. That may be Lao Tzu or Osho or Sadhguru or so many people, like um, Jalaluddin Rumi, or like so many people, like all the masters, whatever they said. Every master has a different way of expressing it. So I went with so many people, in the sense whatever they're speaking. There was a time where I didn't question anything. I just followed. I just like listen. Anything which is given to me is in that form of video. I felt it like an energy transmission, or like someone is just giving me something which is new, or which is going to challenge my mind in different ways for me to explore. So I was thinking all of this, like where it all began from, and the root cause of it. So in this time, the way I followed different people, different teachers, some are totally fake. They fake their enlightenment. I don't want to call names or like give names, because I'm not here for that purpose to condemn anyone. That's not my thing. So, but it taught me so many things. How, if they're faking, how they are faking it. Their level of handling themselves when things are bad. How are they handling it? When people are blaming that person who is said that he is enlightened, how is he handling things when things are going bad in his own life? Is he stable, or is he like unmoving, or how exactly is he handling? Is he having ups and downs in his emotions? So all of this, like as he's staying in an he is staying in an equanimous zone, or these things I started observing. But for that part, I needed to go through a lot of stuff. So how do we compare masters? On what basis we compare enlightened masters? Um, where does this comparison come from? If we are, the mind says that it wants to pick someone who it appeals to your mind. That person is saying something which is impressive to your logical mind, which your logical mind wants to satisfy itself, because it's feeding on whatever that person is giving you the message, or the whatever the concept of the subject is. If that is satisfying, the mind will say, oh, he's intelligent, I think I'm gonna like follow him, or like, this is your mind telling, not you picking, not me picking. We didn't pick like that. We are going with the mind. The mind is satisfying itself, because it can't fight the logic the person is giving to you. So it's kind of like, if a master is talking to you um, about the wisdom which will never change, about love or about intimacy, there's some part of the wisdom which will never change. It's like, probably that's what we call as ancient wisdom or something like that, where the foundation, the ground rules will never change. So if someone is talking about that, and your mind can't find or pick anything bad, or it can disprove that subject, then it will surrender to that logic. So then on that basis we might pick someone. So there are many levels in this, how we get in, and how it happens subconsciously. If you meditate more, you'll understand how this picking is happening, because you'll see the whole pattern of how it picks people, and how it segregates into, okay, this is good, this is all right, this is bad, or this is not up to your level or his level, or like, this comparison of masters. In my view, comparing two masters is the worst thing you could do. It's the most worst, and also in my view, it's the dumbest thing, because I did that too. By the way, I'm not immune to this. I did that too before reaching here. Because nature never creates anything identical. It's okay. I can give an example for you guys to understand this. Uh, Not even a single snowflake is identical to each other. Every snowflake is different. Every snowflake is unique to itself. Like, we all are so unique. Our voices are unique. Our fingerprints are unique. Everything is so unique to yourself. You are one person, one unique being only. There is no one like you. Ever. Ever. It's not going to be like that. Nature never makes anything identical. It's the man who wants things identical, because it's easier to manage it. So if everything is so unique to itself, how can a master be same? Like how can two masters be the same? Is there a possible, like you and me are not same, you and me are not not same or not equal, we are so unique. So each master has their own way of transmitting the energy, in a way of education, in a way of an experience, or in any way. It's their choice. The words they use, the actions they do, it's so different and so unique. If you want to pick someone as your master, it's your mind picking, not yourself. Once you pick from yourself, there will be no questions, absolutely no questions. You cannot question it, it'll happen. So that master might be alive or dead, it doesn't matter. Physicality doesn't matter. You'll get the teaching for sure, from his videos, from his books, from his whatever. However, the next layers I can't get in because it's too woo-woo kind of subject. So I kind of like keep it here, so because it'll be logical. So if we're picking the master by comparing, and if we pick the one you think is best for you, it's your mind picking, because it can't fight the logic. But I would like to see each master has its unique quality. Energetically, you will link to that person, link to that master's energy. Somehow it will happen. If you're ready, that'll happen in your life. So if that happens, absolutely there will be no questions whatsoever. Absolutely no questions, because your life becomes so spontaneously arranged with that master. All the things you're thinking, all the things you want to learn, it will come to you. It just, you don't even want to search for things. It'll come to you one by one, one by one. I had so many experiences like this, I can't even like count now. It's so many. Like I just want to learn something, it just comes to me. Like even before even thinking that I want to learn this thing, I was just having a thought of like, all right, so this is my habit, how can I change it? And it just appears from some reason when I'm googling it or something, at the right point, the right person, it'll just come to me. So these things will happen. The spontaneity, the more you meditate, your life will become more spontaneous with many things. So comparing two masters is just, no, not cool. It's like how can I like give an example? It's in my experience, so I'm trying to like find words to put that experience into like in a way where we can understand it. It's like this. You're asking a lotus this question, that why are you not a rose? And the rose would go, what? Because these are completely, every master is so different to their own thing, and we can't compare. Try to learn from each master, and appreciate the uniqueness and the way they are teaching it, because every master has their own fragrance of how they are delivering the experience, because that master wants you to get there, because it's utterly beautiful. And as a human, no one should miss the spot of being enlightened. It's our birthright. It's like everyone has access to that. Till I had my own samadhi experience, I never believed that I'm even eligible for samadhi. In my view, when I went to Vipassana, I just needed something to make myself more self-disciplined. That was my goal, or my idea of going to Vipassana. But there is something in me from my childhood which is intense, and it's like, I can't express this. It's so hard to explain this thing, because it's going in all directions which are not good, that energy, because I didn't know how to channel it, or how to like set a path for that energy. So out of that intensity, and I went to Vipassana just to learn a technique where I can go deeper into myself. And out of the relationships I had, or like uh, my own failed marriage, and like everything was falling down. My entire idea of what a successful life is, whatever the life which people told me, or my parents, or schooling, or all these programs, or like this entire society from the program of it, the idea of what a successful life was, I reached that goal. I reached that point. Okay, this much money, this and this is a successful life. I reached that point, but there's no success there. And when that hit me, my illusion was going down, my illusion was dissolving. But I thought that my life is going down, and I thought that it's like it's nothing is right now in life, and I thought that I'm a big failure. um, but many people absolutely liked to be where I am at, even at that point of time. But I still thought that I'm a failure because it's a programmed mind. My parents programmed me that whatever I do is not good enough for them. Yeah, I always have to do some more. It's like it's never good enough. So with this mindset, and I was in that spot, and finally, I out of that whole intensity, and I made a couple of videos about it. Like I went through this dark soul of the night. In that time of that depth, you go into the darkness of your own darkness to find your own light. That is pretty scary, but it's I thought that I was dying actually. So it's from that perspective I came out of it, and finally I felt the release of all this illusion and these conclusions and the programming of the society. It's just washing away. After that I felt very light, and then I looked into Vipassana. Then I thought, you know what? I drove 500 miles to go do that Vipassana. I was pretty dedicated. I was ready for that. I was very ready, without even knowing myself that I'm so ready for that. And I drove all the intensity which is in me from my childhood. Finally, it got a channel to route it towards. And I only remember when I started meditating on the second day morning, I just routed all of that energy without even knowing into focusing my breath. That's all. That's all I did. For 2 hours, I did not move. Complete, absolute stillness. I couldn't move because I was. It's just like I got into this phase, and the intensity is like entirely, my entire mind's focus is only on my breath. I kept telling myself that whenever it goes away, I'll pull it back and focus intensely on my breath. So that kind of like at a point of time, it put me in this zone where I reached a point of clarity in my mind where even with my closed eyes, it was bright in my mind. It's like it is so hard to explain this because the person who went through this can understand what I'm trying to tell, because there'll be stages in this. You have your awareness has to be high to see what's going on and not losing yourself and still focusing on your breath. So it's kind of like this clarity comes in between your eyebrows, or that area, this whole area, when you close your eyes, whatever the circumference you're seeing with your closed eyes. This sudden clarity and this freshness comes to you. That's the first step. That'll come probably with any meditation if you're like if your focus is proper and you crossed 30 minutes to 35 minutes in the meditation unmoving, and you're focusing on your breath, and you were able to focus on your breath for a long time without having many thoughts, you're like going there, then obviously it'll come to you. So that's the first time I've seen in the meditation that okay, what is this clarity, or sudden clarity I'm feeling, and mind was like little calmer. It's the calmness is like growing bigger and nicer. Like it's kind of like slowing down, and my breath became shorter and shorter. It was amazing to see all this. So, but for the people who didn't go through, they think I'm in an illusion, because they have nothing in their mind to compare to. If they have something like a previous experience of this, they can compare what's going on. But if a person doesn't go through all this, for them it's going to be like they can't understand it. Simply, I have love for them because they want to understand it, but they can't. They have to go through this. So, anyways, coming back. Oh, my monitor just went to sleep. So yeah, uh, picking these two teachers and how all this happens and this comparison of the mind is just the logical mind doing it. But energetically, you link to a master when you're ready. Unless you're ready, it will not happen. Ready in the sense you are ready to do or lose anything to pursue your spirituality or your meditation or whatever the practice you might call it. Unless then that will not happen. In general, that's my view, because there is no point in coming to you if you're not ready. And I understood these things and started like a few years ago. I didn't like compare, and just started seeing how unique everything is. Not just the Enlightened Masters. Lao Tzu has his own way of teaching, and with laughter and all. Osho has its own way of teaching, his own way of teaching, and they were born very ahead of us. They were, if you see Osho's work, he lived like probably it's like 5 to 7 lifetimes in one lifetime. He did a lot of work on many religions. He almost read everything. It's said that he read around 300,000 books in his lifetime from his childhood. He spent mostly of his time by himself. So, and if you see work of Sadhguru, and he has his own way of working with the people and all that, and each person has their own thing. But what your mind is attracting to, you be watchful about it, and try not to like judge, compare these two, because you can't compare Buddha to anyone. He has its own vibrancy. He has its own way of dealing with things. Buddha is way too perfect. It's like even in Enlightened Masters, his words are so framed, like very well framed. It's like you can't find problems in it. It's like your logical mind can't fight with that. There's no way, because his intelligence is way ahead. Like it's like millions of miles ahead. There's no calculation in it, because we can't calculate that, because it's spontaneous. It is not something he's framing in the mind to give the output to you. It is spontaneously coming with no mind. So understanding this is a little harder, because no mind is the one where I experienced in the state of samadhi for short amount of time. That's when I understood that my mind was absolutely still. It's unwaveringly still. I could use it if I want to, but it's just there. That's the first time I've ever experienced no thoughts in my mind, and I'm absolutely conscious. So they're speaking from that. They live in that, and they're speaking from that spontaneity. It's so hard for us to like put with our logical mind, because samadhi is the level of, it's behind your senses, all your sensory perceptions, your logical mind, your physical body, your sensations, and the thoughts you get when you sense things, when you smell, when you taste, when you touch, when you see. It's behind the capability of the physicality. It's a step behind, which is using this vehicle we call as body. It's in it, and it's when you enter that state, it will be very blissful before you enter that state. But once you enter it, you are bliss. It's not like you're being blissful. You are experiencing that you are bliss itself. So that's the state of samadhi, and it's absolutely amazing. No one can describe it. It's you have to go through that. You have to experience it. But once I experienced it, I created a strong resistance for that, to go back there again, because I don't want to because because it's going to change my entire life. There's no doubt. The glimpses I had for 2 times is enough to change my life up. It's up. It's upside down totally. And I want to take it slow. I don't want to like. I'm giving some gap right now to fix other things because out of all the things I focused on into the spirituality, I let go many things like about my finances. I was not taking care, and everything is coming down on me right now. It's pretty hard, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm feeling this this squeeze from universe. It's squeezing me with tight finances and like many other things. Which you see, when we fall down, we feel like everything is coming down towards us to put us down. So, but the way I'm handling it is really awesome. Like, I'm really enjoying this squeeze because whenever every 7 years for me, the squeeze happens. Whenever this happens, that kind of like in that time, whatever the pressure I feel from the universe or the situations in my life will leave me with a lot of wisdom, which will make me very disciplined. Before this year, January, before my samadhi, I was not conscious about this, but now I'm very conscious about what it's changing in my life and how it's helping me to like be more disciplined and like be more balanced in everything I do. So I'm really enjoying the tough time I have because every problem will make you intelligent. Every problem will give you something which will make you more intelligent than who you were before that. But how we see the problem and how we talk to ourselves about the problem, how we are discussing about it with ourselves in our inner dialogue plays a very big role. If you're talking to yourself in a positive manner and seeing the positivity in the problems, then the problems will be very fruitful. You'll enjoy the fruit it'll give you after you're done with the problem. But if we're telling ourselves, I'm having the worst time of my life, oh my God, it's if your inner dialogue is this, then the problem will become bigger. Even though it's tinier, the effect of it is like widened, and because you're empowering that pain and the problem in your mind. That's how we create our dark side. Every person will have their dark side. Without going through the dark side, you cannot see the light. You can't see your inner strength unless you pass through that zone. Because we created that dark side by saying this is pain, this is pleasure, this is good and that is bad. And all the bad things and all the things we put in that bag of bad, or like in the thing, we empowered that dark side by saying that if I feel these emotions, I'm done. I'm having a bad time. The more intensely you taught yourself all these are so tough situations, when they hit you, it'll be so hard on you because you are the one who created it first. But once we get down to that, once we sit down with our own dark side and like go into it with a joyous nature, like joyful and dancing and going into that dark side, because it is yours. You need to process it. Unless we feel all that, we cannot heal it. Whatever you're denying it to feel, you'll never heal that because you're pushing it down because it's too stressful or too hurtful for you to even go there. So in my dark night of the soul, I processed a lot of things like this from my childhood, whatever the things which are very painful for me, from my parents, from my friends, from whatever the things happen in my life from childhood. For all those things I had to process. Unless then the lightness doesn't come, the lightness in your daily life, in your activities, the fearlessness in your actions, it will not come unless you process all that. But it's awesome to go down there and like clear all that clutter to see our own strength. So yeah, comparing the masters, I wouldn't suggest it, but try to learn from seeing masters as different kind of flowers. This is how I see it. So you don't have to see it that way, but this is the way I see it. Like each person, each master has their own fragrance, and the way they teach is very unique, and I really respect that. I like that because I don't want everything to be same. So if you see Bodhidharma, he's a very strong person. He's a prince of southern India. So he was born in a family of kings. Like we call in India, we call the term the word is for them was Kshatriya. The in the people who were born in king's family. So they are the warriors, and they have a strong mindset. They were raised like that, and they take everything tough. They're tough people. They're very adventurous. They don't they can live by themselves in the darkest places you could ever imagine very freely. They walk into that darkness with joys and dancing in a way where it's so easy for them because they know their strength. They're tough, they're strong. Not all of them are adventurous like that, like Bodhidharma, or like, few masters are very adventurous. They like their aloneness, like how Lao Tzu died, or the way he chose his own. He walked away into mountains, and before he was like walking away into mountains when he got older. That's where he want to leave his body and in his aloneness. So each like you say it's the same with Bodhidharma. He just walked away when he wants to let go and never ever saw any person again. So that's how it's no one who knows him saw again. That's how they want to leave their body. That's their choice. Each person has their own thing and own uniqueness, but no master will clash. No true masters will clash ever. This will never happen. They're always in this spontaneity because they are speaking from a state of samadhi. They are living in it, and that can't collide. Whatever they say, the deeper facts are always equal. If that's not equal, someone is not a master in both in whatever we are comparing with. Because if you see a master, sorry about that. If you see a master, when they're speaking from a spontaneity of no mind, when they drop their mind completely from a state of samadhi, from their speaking, from them rooted in samadhi, it'll never clash. Whatever they're saying, the deeper part of the meaning would be same. So this is one thing I found between Buddha or any master like Osho or Sadhguru or Lao Tzu or like Chuang Tzu or Rumi. Rumi is absolutely amazing. He's such an amazing person. So it's like is the love poems of Rumi is like it's just so heartwarming to read because there's nothing like it. Rumi is just entered his dimension is total love. It's absolutely love. It's like so it's sometimes when I like feel low or like when I used to feel low, I don't know, just Rumi's things comes to me. It's in my mind, and there were some. I think there were some videos on YouTube. People were like saying it's like mild music with Rumi's proverbs or poems or thoughts. I like to play that and just like listen to that, and like it's each person, each master, the way they're delivering the message is so beautiful. It's utterly beautiful. And comparing is insulting that. Even if you compare yourself with someone else, you're insulting your own uniqueness. It's like you just don't know how unique you are, and you're comparing to someone else and thinking that someone else is better than you. But the moment you compare, you just created an insult for yourself. You moved away from your own uniqueness. So comparing masters is completely different. Yeah, no, I would not do that. It's like I did that initially in my spiritual seeking, but not anymore. A master's words will hit you so hard. It's like it'll be very challenging. If they're not challenging, it's like they'll come until it's like I don't know how to explain this, because if they're not challenging enough for you, you'll stay in the same state where you are right now. It should be very challenging. It should be threatening to your mind. Then you found a master. If someone you found that you really hate that master, when you see that master speaking, you found your master. It's like you're almost close. I would say, because I can't choose for you, because it has to come to you. It's your private thing. Uh, but when everything he's saying or she's saying is triggering you so much that it's moving you away, or it's like it's shaking your ground of comfortness, your ground of understanding of what life is, then that person is a master. If it is comforting to your yourself, then it's no, it's he's not a master. It's like there's no way. Masters' words are so challenging because the belief systems you have, which is keeping you in the state you are in, if a master is saying something, it'll hit directly onto it, because that's where it's gonna hit. Because it's not like you are in the state you are in right now because of the belief systems you have. That ground needs to be shaken, and only a master can do that. Because the rest of the people will think that they will lose you. They'll lose you as a subscriber, or they will lose you as a devotee or a student or whatever they are into, whatever they're using you for money or whatever. But the master would never back down. He'll slowly tell you things, or like the way he expresses himself and the way he looks into your eyes, that matters. So yeah, I'm having a good time with my life right now, even though the situations are tough for me. Just financially. Other than that, everything is flawless. It's like flawless. I can't complain. After all that I've been through, or whatever the situations I thought which were tough and life threatening to me, and all those things were past, and like at that years and years worth of ignorance and dogma was cleared. Meditation is such a wonderful thing, and I'm doing meditation, but not to the point where I can go deeper. But I'm just restricting myself to go there because I don't want to right now. Because it takes me to a certain level I can get in, but it also moves me from all the other things I'm doing. It needs focus. It needs continuity. It needs intensity. And I'm very sure I'm not ready for that. I'll take probably one more year to get into deeper states of meditation, and like get myself financially a little bit stable, and like the things I'm earning or doing, I want to earn some money, or to the point where I never want to worry again. Asking someone else for help is not my thing. So I don't like dependency in general. So I want to create certain amount of wealth where I could pursue my meditations or this thing for a longer period of time without any disturbance, because nothing is free these days. Even there are masters who are spiritual masters and stuff, they can't do anything for free for you, because it's not like that nowadays. There's so much logistics which goes into arranging a spiritual event for a group of people, and they need funding for that and all that. So nothing is free, and I don't want it for free either. So setting this in a way where I wouldn't need much, but I can survive for a longer time, for like a decade or something, and I could go through my meditations and stuff. That'll be awesome. That's my thing. I'm at the stage where I want to like go through that phase and earn some money, and then go deeper into meditation, because it has a potential to change my life entirely. The person I think I was, half of it is already dead with the samadhi experience. It's gone. It's like it's so gone that I can't relate to that anymore. It's like it is like someone else's life. It feels like that. It is. There are so many things after that samadhi happened. It's like it washed me from whatever is holding on to me, which is weighing on me. It might be experience, it might be relationships, it might be people, places, things, money, everything. It's kind of like it removed me from that zone. It didn't happen entirely because I'm not rooted in samadhi, because there are 8 kinds of samadhi where you can experience in the body. There are 2 probably out of the body, or you are about to die in those two, because it's so hard to cling to your body or come back from those two. So one is seeded, and the other. There are four kinds in seeded, and there's one which is unseeded. There's no seed at all. So it's like the first four, your habits, you can go into that state of samadhi and come back, but you are intact. Your habits are still there. Your personality is still there. Your ego would be there. Your anger would be there. It's all there, but you touch something else. That's a whole different world. Samadhi is a totally different world, and these are two different realities, totally different. And the experiences and the intensity and the wisdom you have in a samadhi, you're trying to get it into your life, included into your life, till you are rooted completely in the samadhi. And that's the next level. After you cross the first four, the next four are into that, where you stay in samadhi for like 24 hours or 12 hours or whatever the time it is, and then you're permanently rooted in it. Then it'll come a point where it's like, you are beyond your own soul, and it's like emptiness after that. That's when most people, like enlightened masters say, that's when you die. You gotta hold on to your samadhi, because it's like it's so hard for you to not accept what you're seeing in the seedless state. Once you cross these 8 levels of samadhi and you are entering the other two, that's when you leave your body, because it's like this, the circle of life is finishing with those two in the end. So it's every like Buddha created compassion for people and hold on into his own body. When he reached that spot, when he was about to go, he created this compassion for love. And because if he goes away, it's like, in his own words, he stood there like in a way with an open door. He's opening the door for so many people like us. If he goes into that and he leave his body and he's complete his birth cycle and birth and death cycle, which in Hinduism is called moksha. So you finished your life and birth cycle. There is no more lives and no more births for you. So in a physical form. And in that state, if you enter that, it is so hard for people like us to come back. If that state is past, or even in that state. So like Buddha said, it's like holding on to your samadhi, in the sense you desire the samadhi. That's the only thing which will keep you in the body. Otherwise you leave the body, because it's so hard to not leave the body, because it is so amazing that you want to live your life in that state of consciousness. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. I would absolutely love to die like that without any doubt, because when the time comes, I want to die like that. It's like it's like your soul experiencing itself that it is the soul. It's your meditation does this to you. It is your own consciousness experiencing itself that it is the consciousness. So this state is not like it's beyond your physical experience. So I created resistance for this, because I want to, like, how can I say this? I still want to be here, not in a way I'm going deeper, but just to function in my reality, to arrange my things a little better, so that, because after a person roots down into his own samadhi, the whole life will change. So, but I don't know that if it's going to happen to me in this life or next life or whatever. I have no idea. I have no expectations either, because I can't expect. This doesn't work. This thing doesn't work with expectations. If you go into your meditation by wanting this experience to happen to you, it will never happen. That the very want itself is a hurdle. It's a block. Samadhi, state of samadhi, are these deeper meditations and the things you feel in there, which it will happen to you in absolute innocence and desirelessness. The state of desirelessness When you're the samadhi is this. Your mind, whatever you're focusing on to, the breath you're focusing, or whatever your object of focus is, when you're absolutely focusing on that, it might be a dot, it might be your breath. When your entire focus goes in there, your mind will become that. Your mind will lose its grip of thinking and will become, the object will dominate the mind. This is what a state of samadhi is. Then the mind becomes still. It will absolutely become still. Because the object you are focusing will dominate the entire mind. Then it will become still. Maintaining these three, there are three things to enter into samadhi, like dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, right? Dharana is the point of focus, whatever you're focusing on. Dhyana is maintaining that focus, which is also called meditation in translation. And samadhi is the combination of these two. And maintaining these three, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, is called samyama. Samyama takes you to the next level. This is where the whole journey begins. Samadhi is the beginning of yoga. It's like you just entered into it. All the games we play in life about good, about bad, about our likes and dislikes, and all of it, all this game we play comes to an end right in the samadhi. There is nothing else like it. You'll realize it so quickly that our minds are insane. They are insane. They're programmed in a way we are not using its capability, not even a little bit. But once you enter the state of samadhi, you'll understand the strength of your mind and how valuable of a tool it is. Because mind, it's said that mind is a beautiful slave, but an ugly master. It is very true. This is very true. It can't be a master. It is not the master. It's just a tool. We need to use it, but it's using us. So that's how this addictive behavior towards anything, towards sugar, towards movie, towards people, towards alcohol, towards food, towards anything. And this entire habit is its own creation. And the way we judge other people and make ourselves feel better, that we're a little better than them because we lower them in our minds, is your own mind eating its own energy. This is crazy. When I observe this, oh my god. It's life-saving because I save a lot of energy there. Once I identify this thing, my mind still does that, but I'm not giving importance to the mind. And there were certain meditations which happened to me like few days ago, where I saw how my mind creates its fear, the pattern it creates its own fear, and how it is creating it, and where it's taking me, or how am I becoming fearful, and when do I slip in, when my mind is saying that I'm having a bad time, or like whatever the fear it is creating about my life or what's going to happen in the future, because fear is always a projection in the future from the past. It's never in the present. So it's creating it, and there were times I just sat down and watch it's saying, the chatter, the fears. It's the way it judges me, the way my mind is judging me. I'm just watching this pattern and like sitting down and seeing it. Many people are not in the stage yet. I can understand that. Many people are not even close to the stage that identifying that their minds are doing this to them. So I have love for them, absolutely, because I need to have empathy and love for them, because I've passed through that zone. So and how it's creating its fears, and when I became fearful for a moment when I got in to those fears, when my mind is saying it, and when I couldn't resist myself and got in, that's when I became fearful. That's when we become fearful in general. And after like 5-10 minutes, I got out of it, and saw my mind very clearly, how it's creating. It's like a movie about my own, in my own mind, playing, and me watching like a separate person, that my mind is doing this to me. So this was an amazing revelation in my mind. It's awesome. I'm really happy with this, because I needed to see this pattern, how it's creating my fears, and how I'm getting into these fears. Because fear is self-created, it is not real. That's why it is fear. So there are fears which are healthy, which will make you alert. And I've been seeing all this, and what basis does the mind has when it's creating its fears? On what basis it's creating its fears, and how we are fearful, why we are fearful, why we are getting into it and not able to stop ourselves and watch this entire thing as a play or a movie on the side, and not care about it that much. So after that, whenever, see, with meditation, the best thing happens to you is the reaction time lowers. Whatever your mind is saying, you don't react for everything. It's like it's playing its chatter. You'll like let it go and do your thing. Focus on what you're doing. Focus on what you want to do at the time. Focus on how to improve your life, or whatever the subject you're learning or doing. If you keep focusing on it, it'll play itself. Like, you'll just let it happen. Don't bother about it. Don't even judge that. You just forget that. Let the chatter happen. Slowly, that's what we do in meditation, right? We are observing the mind, but not reacting to it. We're just watching it. So the more you meditate, they'll come into your life, slowly into your actions, and you will not rush yourself for anything. There's nothing I want to rush myself for. Nothing. I don't want to rush myself ever again. Like, if I do sometimes, but I really want not to do that, because it's like whenever I'm rushing myself, I'm moving away from my center. I'm moving away from my balancedness. So rushing is not needed, and blaming is not needed either. If I'm blaming someone, I'm being very unintelligent. It's like, if we in a view, I don't think a meditator can blame someone. We shouldn't blame someone, because it's extremely unintelligent. Meditators should go towards finding the truth, not blame someone. So all these lessons are just coming up, and like I'm just like, just reading in my mind, like learning all these things. Whatever, like, coming, this idea, when the perception changes, when the deeper the meditation you go into, there'll be a point when your perception changes. With that, the whole thing you see till that point, and the whole thing you're seeing now will change. The entire view of the entire world changes for you. Like, those perception changes are the ones will make us more intelligent, more conscious about what we are doing, or how we are learning, and is it true or not, is it valid or not. Not just believe it because it occurred to you. So yeah, I'm having a great time with all these things. Like, for this, I need more money to sustain myself, so that I could focus on this more. But I focused probably one whole year on all these things, but now it's like other things are weighing on me. I need to like go take care of that too. So that's why I didn't make many videos. I'm still like going through all that. But at some point in time, I will like, when I get into like this thing again, and you'll see at the time, even I'm excited to see too, because my voice changes, the way my eyes look changes, everything changes when I'm in that deeper spot, because it puts me in a state of grace. Other than, it's like, if we're not in a state of grace, I don't think we could enter those deeper levels. You should be in a state of acceptance, in a total state of acceptance. The more acceptance we have for each moment which we are experiencing, the deeper we go into the journey. So it's awesome. The seasons are changing here every time. Every time it's like my body works in a different way. Like, everyone will lose weight in summer and gain weight in winter. I gain weight in summer and lose weight in winter. So it's like it's changing already. It begins from my hair falling a little bit. It's starting happening already. Our hair falls, so does the leaves fall. We're so connected. Everything is so connected. So I'm seeing all these changes happening. It's like it's amazing. It's like never before. I never seen all these things before. So I'm discovering myself every day, a newness of myself every day. It's like it's so wonderful, and I'm very grateful for my life and the breaths I take every day. And it's like a celebration. It's like I wake up and celebrate for a little bit every day after I wake up, because it's like my birthday. Every day is a birthday. Waiting for one day in 1 year to celebrate your birthday is the most stingiest way to celebrate a birthday. It's like you're so stingy. I realize this thing. Why are you waiting for one whole like year to celebrate your birthday? Like what the fuck was that? What is it? Why this wait for like little bit of attention from few people? Then you feel it's your birthday. Like yeah, that part of me was dead. I celebrate my birthday every day. I'm not trying to condemn anyone who's celebrating their birthday once a year, but it's better to like get it into like probably once a month, or once every 6 months, then once a month, then once a week, then once a day. I didn't get back to the state of celebrating it, celebrating in the sense of being conscious that you're alive and you're vibrant, and celebrating that in every moment, whatever the moment brings you. You be in a state of acceptance is celebration to me. So yeah, thank you so much. Wherever you are, I wish you all the best in your seeking, and it's we all are together in this. The more you meditate, in my view, the more I meditated, the more ordinary I became. It's like I'm learning myself. It's relieving me from all the perceptions and preconceived notions or ideas I had in my mind about who I am. It's removing all that, and like I'm so normal. I'm a very normal guy. I'm just so normal, so ordinary, and I have no idea about anything in its totality. I don't even know a piece of grass in its totality. The million shades in grass. It's like they are very unique. They look the same, but they're extremely unique. I have no idea. I don't. It's like I have nothing. Like I can't say that I'm intelligent. I can't. It's like I'm just so normal guy. So thank you for listening to me. All the very best to you.